All right, and it is that time. It's that time once again for another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society radio show right here on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Of course, it's Saturday, February the 29th, 2020. Happy Leap Day to you, and yes, even you. What's happening? How much leaping did you do on this day? Any leap of faith stories out there? Out of all the times of the year to have one or do something that's considered a leap of faith, I guess today would have been the day. But anyway, happy leap day. What's happening? What's going on? How are you? All is well on my end. Of course, just excited to be bringing another edition of the Cafe Society to you right here on YouTube. Again, for all practical purposes, today is Saturday, February 29th, 2020, and we do have a good show in store for you. We'll be sharing on this day in history. Of course, we'll get into some business news. We got to talk about this coronavirus. My goodness. Some recent news just came out really in just a matter of a few minutes ago via ABC News, so we'll be talking about that and so much more. I tell you, aside from that concern, it's been a pretty normal business news as well as news in general week, right? There's always something going on. Of course, we had the horrible shooting in Milwaukee that happened just yesterday, and when it's all said and done, we can still walk away with the notion that it is a wonderful world after all, right? All right. Well, we of course have been acknowledging and celebrating Leap Day. This is, after all, a leap year. So I thought on this day in history, we just go back in time and find out what this day is all about. How did it come to be? And so it all started on this day in history. In 35 BC, Julius Caesar proclaimed that this day will be recognized on the calendar as Leap Day. Now, there is a backstory, as you all know, and of course you're saying, well, what's the backstory? I never thought you'd ask. Now, pay attention because there just may be a quiz later, everyone, but here's the backstory. Caesar and his experts thought that the Earth's orbit around the sun took about 365 days and 6 hours. And so, based on that information, the initial calendar that was established was based, around that for just the 365 days. And so to correct the 6-hour problem, he consulted with an astronomer named Sosthenes. And they got together, put their heads together, did all the research and the work, and decided that the best way to correct this problem with the 6 hours and the additional 6 hours to the 365-day calendar was to add an extra day. And so that's how we got Leap Day. An extra day was added to the calendar every 4 years to keep the calendar aligned with solar time. Well, as years and decades passed, it became apparent that Julius Caesar and the astronomers that he worked with were off with their calculations, about a minute and 54 seconds. Not too much, but when you take into account all the time that has passed, all the years that passed, by 1582, the calendar was off by 10 days. That's right, 10 days. So to correct the time tracking problem, Pope Gregory VIII introduced the Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar that we currently use today. And that calendar reflected the calculation of a tropical year, which is 365 days and a quarter hours. So and then to kind of bring everything current, what they did, now listen to this. Imagine, we're familiar with falling back in the fall every year, right? We fall back an hour, and in the spring we spring forward an hour. But in this case, to correct the calendar situation, that 10-day problem, Pope Gregory VIII leaped the calendar forward by 10 days. So folks went to bed on October 4th, 1582, and rather than waking up the next morning to October 5th, 1582, they woke up to October 15th, 1582. So they, in essence, lost 10 whole days. And they did this to correct that 10-day problem. They also did it to correct the vernal equinox situation, as well as what date they felt Easter should be celebrated. Now, the new year was moved from the month of April to January. That's right, every April was New Year prior to this Gregorian calendar. So now with the Gregorian calendar being introduced, New Year's was no longer in April. It was moved to January. And so just think about it. For that year, 1582, they celebrated New Year's Day twice, once in April and then again in January. Anyway, the calendar system as we know it is now more in sync with solar time, which still includes the leap day of every 4 years, as we just said. And by all accounts and calculations, it appears that it's only going to be off by 1 day every 3,000 years or so. So you got it? Well, as complicated as all of that sounds, everyone, it really was the basics of how the current calendar came to be. There is a lot more complications involved with it, but we won't get into it. So anyway, that's the backstory on Leap Day and how it came to be. Also on this day in Black history in 1940, actress Hattie McDaniel became the first African American woman to win Best Supporting Actress for her role as Mammy and Gone with the Wind. And also on this day in history, in Black history, in 1972, African American baseball player Hank Aaron became the highest paid player in the baseball league, signing a 3-year contract with the Atlanta Braves for about $200,000 a year. All right, and that concludes on this day in history. Now, this is some good business news. Listen to this. This jumped out at me because it seems like Walmart is really trying to hang in there with Amazon. It was reported that Walmart is continuing to grow and extend its brand. We talked about this last week, right? So according to Bloomberg, they recently announced that they have started rolling out clinics, health clinics that offer checkups, dentistry, and therapy. A Walmart in Georgia, as a matter of fact, charges $30 for a medical checkup. Teeth cleaning costs $25, and psychological counseling is $1 per minute. These clinics are part of its $36 billion division that includes pharmacies and vision centers. The retailer hasn't said how many clinics it plans to open. And of course, the move adds Walmart to the list of companies, including CVS, that are disrupting the traditional United States healthcare market by grabbing a bigger slice of the nation's $3.6 trillion in healthcare spending. Imagine that. Amazing, right? So, I guess Walgreens started this a few years ago too with their little clinics back by the pharmacy area. So now Walmart is also doing that. Now, in other Walmart news, in an effort to compete with Amazon Prime, they are set to launch a rebranding of its existing unlimited delivery service. Yes, it's called Walmart Plus, Walmart with the plus sign, and it will be a pay-to-save membership program that will offer more perks like text-to-order service, a scan-and-go checkout, and discounts on fuel and prescription drugs. Now the big question is, can and will Walmart catch up with Amazon's Prime situation that's going on? They're kind of lagging some years, maybe a decade or so, right? Anyway, we're going to stay tuned and kind of follow this and see how things continue to develop. Now, speaking of Amazon, they continue to nip at Walmart and other grocers' heels as they have recently opened its first high-tech full-size supermarket with a twist. No cashiers, no! We've been talking about this for years now, right? How these artificial intelligence and robots and all of that are going to be taking the place of human beings. But, as Walmart says, they're not eliminating jobs, they're redistributing jobs. But anyway, it's this new grocery store that Amazon has opened. It's 10,000 square feet. And it's called Amazon Go Grocery Store. It's in Seattle. It offers 5,000 different products that are linked to sensors and cameras and require no payment stop at the as the customer exits the store. It's reported that they will add roughly 2,150 more of these stores across the United States and abroad. But as Amazon looks to tap into the United States grocery industry, questions are being raised about plans for their staff at the Whole Foods stores. Remember, Amazon took over Whole Foods. And so now the question is, what are you guys going to do? Eliminate jobs and get rid of cashiers? But they're saying that they aren't cutting jobs, rather they're shifting staff to different kinds of roles. But the experts are predicting that Whole Foods cashier jobs will be completely eliminated by the year 2022. That's just 2 years from now, guys. So we'll see, and perhaps they are retraining the cashiers to do more tech-related jobs to deal with, maybe tech issues that come up as people shop in these grocery stores. Now they're saying Amazon, that is reporting that their goal is to reimagine the grocery experience by creating an integrated online and physical retail ecosystem powered by the most advanced technology in use by any retailer. Let's stay tuned on this one too, people. It's getting interesting, right? All right, and then, of course, we at the top of the show, we talked about this coronavirus news that's been hot for the last couple of days. It's being reported that this virus continues to spread across the world. The concern about the possibility of pandemic has risen with an increase in cases in South Korea, Iran, and Italy. In fact, just moments ago, ABC News reported that a high travel restriction and advisory has been issued for Americans who are planning to travel to those countries. They're saying don't go, or if you're there, you need to come back right away. And of course, a few days ago, we heard from the CDC, who has come out and said, yeah, folks, it's time to panic. This is what they said to the American public. So they issue some tips, and of course, I guess if you Google, you'll find all kind of tips on how to try to keep yourself healthy and free from this coronavirus. One of the things they're saying is get a mask only if you have a cough or a cold, or have been in, or you have to be in the public with this cough or sneeze or cold. It's, kind of protects other people from you. so to speak. And it's also recommended that you stay away from large crowded areas. And if you have to be in public places and spaces, it's recommended that you keep those bleach wipes with you, the personal size bleach wipes with you, and try to wipe down surfaces before you touch them. The catch is to allow the surface to dry after you wipe, because that completes the whole process, the surface drying. And it's also recommended that you not reuse a wipe. So once you wipe something down with the wipe, with one or two strokes, you toss it, throw the wipe away. Otherwise, you're just moving the germs around, so to speak. All right. Also, it's recommended that you stockpile food and medical supplies, to wash your hands regularly and thoroughly with warm water and soap. And of course, there's video footage and news reports in the last few days on how to properly wash your hands. Sing the happy birthday song is how long you should be washing your hands, and not just the insides of your hands, the palms, but your entire hand, your fingertips, and between your fingers, all of that, to keep yourself free of germs. Also, it's recommended that you keep your hands from your face. Just try to keep your hands away from your face as much as you can. And I'm just throwing this one in because you guys know me. Also, continue to communicate with God. In other words, pray. Pray this thing away. The power of prayer is amazing, right? So we're going to pray it away and pray that it, no more cases pop up here in the United States, and the cases that has happened in other places of the world, that they shall, heal, and this little virus thing will go away. All right, and this coronavirus has had a detrimental effect on the stock market this past week. They're saying that things haven't been so bad on Wall Street since 2008, and it could only get worse. We hope not. And this is coming off of the highs. Just a few weeks ago we were talking about how well the stock market is doing, and I guess some folks are calling this a correction of sorts. But anyway, by the close of the market on Friday, February 57.28 points to 25,409.36.
The S&P 500 was down 24.54 points to 2,954.22, and the NASDAQ was up 0.89 points to 8,567.37. Stocks that were managing to move up despite all the bad news that was coming from Wall Street is a biotech company called 47 Inc. It was up $9.21 to $58, and the Clorox stock hit an all-time high of more than $172 per share earlier this week, all because of that coronavirus. But by the close of business, or the stock market on Friday, their shares were down to $159.42 per share. Other stocks that dropped include Dell Technologies. They were down $3.10 to $40.46 per share. And Columbia Sportswear Company was down $2.39 to $81.30 per share. Gold was down also $75.90 to $1,564.10 per ounce. And oil was down $2.33 to $44.76 per barrel. And that wraps up our look at business news. A lot, right? Isn't it something how health-related issues can have such a detrimental effect on business? It's amazing. It's amazing. While some companies are suffering due to this coronavirus, many are doing well. Some industries that are hurting include manufacturers who can't get important components from China, retailers who are uncertain about maintaining their inventory, and travel services along with tourist locations and spots that can't seem to find any tours because people are canceling and rescheduling their trips all over the place. But that's a lesson that we should all learn and get in business. It's all tied together. All right. And so, I'm just kind of relaxing on this Saturday after a busy day. And we didn't get to any entertainment news to share with you all. No cafe talk either. I do just want to remind you all that there are opportunities to promote your businesses, your services, products, brands, personas, etc., with this show. All you have to do is send an email to producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com for more information. Also, if we don't get to, obviously we're not getting to the Christmas giveaways every month, but perhaps by July we can start with the Christmas in July and roll right into the giveaways that we will start in October. So if you're interested in once again just getting some added exposure for your business, your service, your product, etc., because listen, even if you're all over the internet with ads, or you're doing the traditional thing with radio or television, there's always still a segment of the population that's sort of a niche that you want to penetrate. You know what I mean? So this is one way. This show is one way to do that. Again, that email is producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com. And of course, we're always looking for guests and show ideas and all of that. So again, producer@MarylandsCafeSociety.com. And I think that's going to do it. We're going to get back on camera. Just give me a time to work this schedule out in the coming months. Maybe by the time it's warm enough to do something outside, we'll get back on camera and bring the show to you live and all of that good stuff. All right? All right. So before we go, I do want to remind you to check me out. Find me on Twitter, Maryland's Cafe Soch. On Facebook, Maryland's Cafe Society. Remember to check out the website, Maryland'sCafeSociety.com, and the blog. I blog every week on WordPress at Maryland's Cafe Society. And of course, right here on YouTube, Maryland's Cafe Society on YouTube. Before we go, let me tell you a little bit about what love is. And it is finding what she knitted for you fits you both. Okay, finding what she knitted for you fits you both. So she knitted a sweater a bit big, and they're both kind of snuggled in the sweater together. How cute that is. All right, people. It's been a pleasure and a privilege as always. Oh, before we go, remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege. Guess what? We're going to do this again right here on YouTube next week. So be sure to join us. Peace, everybody. Have a great one.